Hey YouTube, this is Heiko, another video about what's going on with my trusted 1977 VW bus. I've been working on little things, new rubber for the windows, a little bit of paint repair here and there, just checking out stuff. And I've been having a lot of fun with this bus, running really, really well. And I thought I'd just make it a little better. Fuel injection is running well. I got a brand spanking new air flow meter up there. It's a new old stock that I installed. So the engine has 78,000 miles on it. The airflow meter maybe like 1,000 now. So it's pretty new. So you can see a little bit of powder coating going on here of the shroud. Looks all pretty nice. But yeah, the thing that I have been working on just recently is actually the ignition. So we're talking about distributor, the coil, and then if you look into that corner up there, it's an MSD Street Fire model 5520. It's kind of like a budget version of the MSD CDI ignition box that they have been making for the last, I don't even know, 40 years or so. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of stuff about, the fuel injection system, the whole way this engine runs and how efficient it is. And everybody seems to be pointing at the ignition, which is kind of a little outdated. The story with points and condenser and a pretty weak coil that was installed in here. The blue coil is not the most powerful thing in the world. And so to improve that a little bit, but staying within a budget, I first installed, of course, a electronic module in the distributor, the Petronix Igniter 2, which ran really well. And I still have it in there. I still like it. It's a good idea. You don't have to adjust points anymore. Hasn't burned out on me, so I haven't gotten stuck anywhere on road trips that we have been taking. I've put 8,000-9,000 miles on this bus so far on long road trips. And I haven't had any problems with the Petronix Igniter 2. I guess if you don't reverse polarity on this thing and you make sure the wires in the distributor don't rub on anything, you're all good. I also added a Petronix coil to it, which I get for $30. That's why I bought it, and just to try it out. On the stock setup, just with the Petronix Igniter 2 and the distributor, it doesn't really make a big difference. It maybe starts up a little better, but it's not like a super big improvement over the standard blue Bosch coil that I had in here before. But now with the CDI box up there, whole different story. Originally, the voltage that's been fed to the coil is only 12 volt, and then 12 volt gets turned into supposedly 60,000 volt in this coil here, and then delivered to the distributor and to the spark plug. But on the way there, you have resistors all over the place. There's certain resistance to the wire. There's a rotor in the distributor which has a 5,000 ohm resistor in the rotor. And then the spark plugs, even if they are called resistorless or resistor-free spark plugs, they still have a resistance, And then the spark between the two poles is a resistance in itself. So, which at the end, you have your 60,000 volts in the coil. You maybe get like 15,000 to create a spark, or maybe 20,000. I don't even know. With a CDI system set up, you actually deliver 450 volts to the coil, which then gets turned into a much higher voltage than in the original rig. And what the Petronix module now does, it really just gives a trigger signal to the capacitor discharge ignition box up there. And I can tell you from the little bit of experience I have now with it, it makes the idle so steady. I mean, it's like dead on. it idles at 875 RPM, and there's no fluctuations going on. The throttle response is extremely improved. It revs up much nicer. It starts up nicer, but there's a little caveat to that, a little side story. So I'm still kind of in the process of making it all work. Since we have an Eljectronic in here, the fuel injection from Bosch that they put into those 1970s buses, it apparently does not like the square wave signal from the CDI box to actually run the ignition properly. So in order to fix that, MSD makes a couple tach adapters or tachometer adapters, this puppy up here, to boost the CDI box's signal a little bit to make the tachometer and the fuel injection run a little nicer. So at this point, it's running really well. As soon as the engine started up, the idle is really dead on, nice throttle response, and really no problems, but it will not cold start. As you guys probably all know, we have the cold start valve here, somewhere there. It gets voltage from our trusted, beloved double relay up there in the corner. And then under the plenum and the manifold here, you have a thermo time switch, which allows the cold start valve, which is pretty much just like the fifth injector here on this engine, to run for about 10 seconds. And then it turns it off. And this circuit, the relay up there, the injector, and the thermo time switch apparently don't like the system here and don't like the signal that it gets from the CDI box. So the cold start circuit doesn't run, which means the engine will not cold start at all. What I need to do every time I want it to get started, just disconnect the little booster here, which is pretty much just a add-on to the CDI box back there. Disconnect that. The cold start circuit runs for 10 seconds, and then the engine will die, because then the engine needs the fuel injection to run properly, and it doesn't work without this booster. So I cold start it, run it for 10 seconds, it dies automatically. I hook that back up, and then the fuel injection runs nicely. The engine starts up, it's all good. I've talked to MSD. They make a different version of this. They are sending that to me. I will try that out, and then we'll see if this cold start fuel injection problem is fixed. But it does run really well once it's running. Maybe you have more experience with MSD ignition in a fuel-injected 2-liter VW flat 4. And maybe you want to share the experience with me. Maybe you had a better idea how to fix this. Yeah, put it in the comments section. Yeah, this is what's going on here with my bus. It's winter in Las Vegas. Fiddling around with it. I would rather be driving it right now, but you know, until this is really reliable, I don't want to get on the road and then get stuck somewhere. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and share some comments.